What is going on, everybody? Great to see you. I'm so happy to be here with you all this morning. Before we get started, and if you notice the title, of the video, it's talking about how we're riding those summer waves, and it's beautiful out there, and more beautiful to be reading all of your comments. I have to tell you, to sit with my wife last night and share some of the comments on the YouTube video in the afternoon was beautiful. Really, really cherish and appreciate each one of you, everything that you share. So looking forward to this session with y'all this morning. I think it's really going to be a fun one. It's nice knowing that my team is positioned so well. It's nice seeing my team really, really, really conquering these markets. That's why we're here together. That's why we do what we do. Every single one of them. Jordan, I saw you on Twitter. Jordan. Yeah, God bless you all. Absolutely. Hussam, I don't know if you're still in the Holy Land or not. But I just want to say, hey, God bless you too, my brother. Yeah, maybe, but Bitcoin doesn't need Dave. Dave needs Bitcoin. The Winklevoss brothers, by the way, if you saw what happened on Twitter yesterday, Dave was like, Bitcoin, I don't understand it. I want the Winklevoss brothers to come in here, and they got to do it in their crew uniform from college. And both of them were, these guys are billionaires. Both of them were like, all right, we're there. We're coming down. We're going to explain Bitcoin to you. And Dave's like, I want to buy up all of the Bitcoin. Square, the only stock, by the way, I'm so excited for this live session. You have no idea. I hope you can feel the energy today. Square is the only public company that I have, quote unquote, endorsed this past year. Why? Because they have built their company around Bitcoin. Speaking of which, boom, boom, boom. Here's the revenue from Square. This is from Bitcoin. This is revenue from Bitcoin sales. Look at that exploding. What do you think is going to be happening here over the next 18 months? Beautiful, beautiful to see. What's going on with that? Well, silver is popping, right? We're going to look at gold. We're going to look at silver. Stream isn't working. By the way, let me pause for a quick second. People are saying the stream's not working. Let me check on the stream health over here. Let's see. We got 434 people in here with 126 likes. That's pretty nice. Stream health. Let's see. Stream is healthy. Stream health is excellent. Status is excellent. If anyone's having any problems with their stream, I want you to go to the bottom right of your YouTube window, click on that settings, the gear icon, click it and change your stream health to a higher quality, and that should fix it for y'all. All right. Boom, 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 boom. We're getting lots of these comments about stream down. I don't know what to do with that. We have a bunch of people with stream difficulties. I'm not going to get started in here until we're all kind of situated. This is going to be a good. Here too, it's hard to tell. Some people are having problems. I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube. I have no control over it. We're just going to do our best to walk our way through it. Listen, thanks for all being here. If there's a problem with the stream, I'm sorry. We'll get to watch it later. It's coming from YouTube's end, though. We're going to keep going over here. On mobile, it's cutting out. All right. So, again, apologies for that. Out of my hands. I was so excited this morning to get into this. Stream just turned off completely. Wah, wah. Man. Yeah, I think it's YouTube too, Max. We're streaming here as best as we can. We got all our settings correct. Something's going on. Apologize for that. I'm not gonna let it get in our way here of enjoying this summer session over here. People riding the waves. All right, let's check it out. We're going to start here on the S&P 500. You can see that we're coming close to our summer target over here. The resistance at 33 39, the horizontal resistance, as well as we have these little trend line resistance coming into play over here. We could, and hopefully do, take out that 339 and come into that area. By the way, hold on 1 second. Back up the truck. Let's put in this resistance line at the all-time highs, because that is what is the next resistance over there. Let's throw that in. All right, now let's take a look over here. Should you be exiting over here at our take profit area right now? Let's take a look at what's going on. By the way, this was shared yesterday afternoon. There's a difference between signal and noise. In my opinion, this was signal, right? Avoid the noise, only pay attention to signal. The Fed, through CNBC is saying that they expect to make a major commitment to ramping up inflation soon. By the way, if we come back over here, we see that former Fed Chair Yellen, again, signal over noise. Fed may well do more in the coming months, where we are expecting the Fed's balance sheet to go over to what? To about $10 trillion by the end of the year. The Fed is signaling what they're looking to do over here. It says markets have been betting on higher inflation. I don't agree. This is why we avoid CNBC and all traditional media, or actually read it with a lens of trying to read between the lines. Because what we're looking at, gold, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the growing negative yielding debt in the market. And you see Bitcoin and gold trading correlation to that. Come back over here. Is this still the take profit area? Is that still the take? I think that's a pretty safe area to get out, right? It's a really safe and good area to get out of the market. I think equities are still very risky. We have tried to navigate everyone towards where the safer investment is. And what is that? That's in gold, silver, Bitcoin, and even right now, why I do consider Ethereum risky. You all know that ever since, before we broke out to the bull market, we started positioning ourselves in. Hold on 1 second. Let me clean this up. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't like how ugly that looks. All right. So S&P target remains. It's a good place to get out over here if you get the take peak. By the way, at this point, as we came within 7 points of our take profit of our resistance, if you were to put in a lower low on the 8-hour time frame, exit the trade. Time to get out. Right now, though, continue to look to push it. Try to hit that max take profit over here. Nasdaq lagging a little bit today so far this morning. Again, it's as the S&P comes into the take profit. Look to exit the Nasdaq. That's it for equities. Not so exciting right now, right? And full of risk. There's a lot. Wow. Did you guys hear about that online concert with DJ Marshmello on Fortnite? 10 million people there. And then after that, Travis Scott did a concert with 28 million people all there live together. Insane. Boom. Try and refresh your page if you're having problems with your stream. I want you all over here. It continues to be a dollar story. What happened with our inverse head and shoulders yesterday? You could see when we were watching it, inverse head and shoulders. Here was our neckline, and you could see that we never got the trigger. What's a trigger? A close above a neckline, right? During the live training session yesterday, right after the live stream, as we got off, we were looking at that. Coming back down, and there we go. The follow through. We saw that on the year. I laugh and mock you. The euro US dollar over here. By the way, can you imagine? I don't even want to get into it. Could you imagine over here though? Euro US dollar held support. We were looking at this. We highlighted this. There was a beautiful comment on YouTube saying that they enjoyed the flow yesterday as we ran through all the FX pairs, going from the top of the list, from the bottom of the list to the top, and marking where we saw potential setups going in overnight. Euro US dollar was one of them. That's a nice follow through taken over there. The Australian dollar is the strongest going into this session, and we're looking at the US dollar being the weakest. We are definitely seeing that risk on atmosphere. And, you know, nice to be a part of it. What else could I say? Murray, I thought you were waiting to September. Glad to have you on board. I really thought you were going to wait to September. Glad to have you on board. You've put in the work here. Let's take you to the next level now. That's awesome. Let the Bulls run. All right, let's keep going over. I just want to sincerely say thank you to all of you. You don't have no idea how much I really, truly enjoy all of you, especially the comments yesterday on the YouTube video. Really taken to heart. I want you to know that. We're going to get 500 likes today, and we all deserve it. People making some good money, as they should be. Let's take a look at what's going around the clock over here. Just going to enjoy this summer session over here as we have everyone riding some good waves over here. What's going on with gold? And what do we do next? You know, as you start getting over here with nothing above us, there's no resistance above us. There's no resistance above us, right? What do we look for? Well, I think, and it continues to be my strategy throughout the rest of this bull market. I'm not looking for any topside take profit targets on gold, by the way. I'm not, with Bitcoin, we all know, we're all conditioning ourselves to know that towards the top of this bull market phase, más o menos 18 months away, we're going to be looking to exit that trade. Gold is a different instrument. I don't know where maybe, hopefully you never sell your gold. Hopefully you never sell your gold, right? Maybe when we exit Bitcoin, maybe we position into gold then to keep that store of value. I don't know what will be going on. We'll figure it out then. What I want to focus in on is what we could do today to continue to get everyone into trades they need to be on, to continue being on the right side of the market. That's what we do here. We share our analysis. It's a guide. It's a tool for you to help you and your own. And I hope it does bring lots of clarity. By the way, let me throw my Twitter link in there. Where's Jordan? Boom. All right, silver. So, but by the way, since there's nothing for traders over here, what do you do now? I think, and I continue to think, the best thing to do when it comes to gold and silver is you're looking for, on gold, 3 to 5% pullbacks. On silver, 7% pullback, right? Really good opportunities to eld. The support down over here, right? This broken resistance right over here that we just broke through, that's 3% down. Any test of that support, definitely, that's a good place to step in. That's a good place to step in. By the way, the first pullback of an instrument making new all-time highs, that is where you want to dig in. So we'll watch gold. And we'll look for possible places to position in. Not happening today, not happening this week. Same thing with silver, right? Look at silver. I have to name this setup. I have to name this setup when you get that down bar on a support or resistance level, up bar on a support level, and then the breakthrough. We got to work on that. So where are we looking now? Silver has just broken the 26.23 resistance we looked at yesterday in the afternoon video. The next target on silver is 29.50 and really 35. 35 I'm going to put in over here. That's going to be beyond that. I never, expected that even 35 in 2020 would really be a place we're targeting. Right. Next level, 29.50. Above that, 35. Is it called? Does it have a name? Is that a three? Blah 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 blah. MJ kicks. Does that have to be on a support or resistance level for the 3-bar play? Because for me, what I'm looking at is it has to be on the support or resistance level. Yeah. Oil catching up over here. Risk on again. Oil's not exciting though. Oil is not exciting. Hey, that's a decent resistance over here. That's a decent resistance over there at 45. I think 8 hours is the best for trading Bitcoin, for trading Ethereum, for trading silver, for trading gold. 100%. 300. Everyone's riding the energy today. Everyone's riding the wave. We got the summer session going on, and people looking at some nice profits. Let's look at Bitcoin over here. We got our roadmap. This is on the 3-day. That's a good time frame. I'll come down to the 8-hour in a second for you. But here's the 3-day. We're between this resistance and this support. We're holding well, right? So I do think that we're headed towards retesting this spike of the top over here towards 12,000. I am looking and waiting for that break. 14,000 is the number I'm really attracted to. All right. So obviously looking very healthy. There's not much to say. Listen, we always follow the flow of the market. We're never trying to impose our own agenda or will on the market. So whatever it is, right? Today's a day where you're holding on to trades and you're pushing them. Maybe there's not going to be so many new entries today. That doesn't matter. You want to be in the flow of the market. If you continue to follow us, to watch our analysis, take it in, use it as a guide for making your own, you're gonna catch these setups right now. Put in the time. What for a Bitcoin target on 18 months, $140,000. Is it possible that we don't make? Is it I do believe clearly. We're gonna be trading over $100,000 come the winter of 2021. 140,000 is my price target. Is it possible in this current environment we're in, where we're seeing the printer presses running, right? We're seeing the Fed saying that they want to try to push inflation. Is it possible that something breaks? Listen, if the stock to flow model breaks, by the way, it's going to break to the upside. It's going to break to the upside. So is it possible that we see Bitcoin trading at a number like $288,000? Yeah, that's not my target. It's entirely possible. We'll figure it out as it comes. We'll take a look at it, Brandon. We'll take a look at everything. Yes. William, good question over here, because we talked about gold. We talked about silver. What about Bitcoin? What type of pullbacks are you looking for Bitcoin? By the way, just so everyone is aware, I am now fully positioned into Bitcoin. I am not looking to take another trade on Bitcoin, to add another position on Bitcoin, until two things happen. Until we trade up to at least $14,000. Yeah, that could be 13,500 or anything above. And then we have our first 30% drawdown. That will be the next time I add to Bitcoin. It'll be clearing 14,000, testing 14,000, and then our first 30% pullback. That will be the next time I add any position to Bitcoin. As we started the bull market here, I'm fully positioned in, riding that wave. I will be adding on 30% pullbacks on gold, on Bitcoin. Now, what happens if you have a 15, 20% Bitcoin pullback on Bitcoin? Do you look to enter? Yeah. I'm not at this particular point in time well positioned in, but yes, that's a good place to start. That's why I say in gold, 3 to 5 is a good place. 3% pullback on gold, pretty decent area for entry. Over here, no FOMO. Today's a day of no FOMO. These moves are already happening. Do not buy silver up here. Do not FOMO after any of this. All right, it's happening. What you want to do right now is figure out how to get on top of that next wave. That's what you're working on. Ethereum looking so beautiful ever since it started its bull market. What's the next area of resistance on Ethereum, by the way? You're looking at it right here where my mouse is, but that's where we peaked out over here. But that's a light one. Right? The next area that I'm really targeting on Ethereum is $500. We're going to get into is there manipulation going on with Tether and Bitcoin? I don't know about that. I know there's a lot of manipulation going on with the US dollar. That's for sure. Is there manipulation? Or I don't have any concerns about Tether, by the way. But what I do see happening is just a brief pause here. A brief 30 seconds. What happened was that, Tether is holding. Tether was perfectly, I believe, they had the reserves for as much Tether was printed for as many dollars. They had to move their funds around to different banks. The U.S. government confiscated, what was it? I don't know the number. And they confiscated an enormous amount of the company's reserves, right? At that point, the peg to Tether was no longer even with the dollar. And since it has not been even. Now that money, hopefully they get it back. The U.S. government, smash and grab, Oh, what? TikTok? We want TikTok, smash and grab, right? Who's the criminals, right? So, you know, I do believe that as Tether prints money, that's because new funds are coming in. I don't believe Tether is printing money out of nowhere like the US government. All right, invest accordingly. Now, we do have other stable coins entering the market, spreading that risk out. Even if you look in Wyoming, Avante are launching a stable coin that could be held in a US bank. And you have JP Morgan, you have the Winklevoss brothers, tons of different stable coins. I don't think Tether is a risk. I think that's a bunch of, a lot of FUD is spread throughout the place. Hi, Jordan. Looking to get 6 weeks course about crypto or Bitcoin. Any recommendations? I was checking out Emmett. Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know, Carlo. Looking to learn more about crypto or Bitcoin. I learned mostly from podcasts and from YouTube. And I think that's better than a university course. I think podcasts and YouTube are much, much, much better than a university course. Hey, Jordan. I smack. The like button is correlated to the price of Bitcoin and the price of gold. That's absolutely true. We'll look at it. We'll look at it right now. Nice kips. Nice kips. Try refreshing your page or using another browser. Google's having a little bit of a problem today. Sorry about that. Got to refresh the videos. Yeah, Robinhood is going to keep on getting involved over there. FOMO gone now. I like that. I'm catching up. I'm enjoying this session so much. So I'm just going to take my time here. We're going to get into everything. We're in no rush this morning. No, Ethereum is not the same play as Bitcoin. Not even close. Not even close. Ethereum. Let's say this: Bitcoin is proven, and Ethereum is not. We do not know if Ethereum could scale. The founders are under the belief that it cannot. Careful out there. Careful getting it. Ethereum is a very highly speculative investment. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. DXY is getting roasted, and let's take a look at that. And rightfully so, right? Rightfully so. So what are we looking at over here, right? We're looking at a lot of momentum now to the downside. Does this trend line still stand? Does that neckline still stand for the first sign of a possible reversal? I don't know. Looks like we have a one-way target testing the low over here at 92.56. Let's see what happens. For those of you who do not understand, for those of you who do not or did not understand that what we were looking at yesterday with this possible reverse head and shoulders developing, that was the neckline. In order to get a signal, you have to close above it. Never got a trigger. Never got a trigger. US dollar, Mexican peso, by the way, let's check in on over here. Coming back down. You saw this almost in like unison yesterday with the Turkish lira getting really demolished yesterday. Peso taking those gains back today as you're seeing the equity markets up, as you're seeing risk on in the markets, and you're seeing that dollar weakness. I still think that they are consolidating between this support over here at 22.21 and the resistance above it at 23.20. And until we get the next breakout above, it's probably better to stand aside. It's probably better to stand aside. I also see that though. So this could be a retest. And if you get a resumption up, watch out. That's a very objective look at it because I'm hoping the peso makes some gains versus the dollars. All right. So, but that's what we're looking at over there. So watch out for that. If you get a breakdown below the support over here, then it might be time to re-enter the peso for a test of the 2150. And that would be beautiful for me, a breakdown below that. I don't know if that's happening. I'm avoiding that right now. No spam. Please don't spam the channel. Appreciate that. Euro US dollar. Right? Euro US dollar. Everyone, we yellow flagged this yesterday as a long entry over here, and here you go. You got I didn't, and I wouldn't have taken this. You can see over here, this is the New York close, right? That's the New York close. And then over here, you have Asia. So I'm not entering over there after being that far off the support. I would not chase that. And nevertheless, could watch it play out. Is it buy time for? No, go ahead and back and watch the stream. Start over from the beginning. Do take a look at silver. Do not FOMO. Try refreshing, John. Try refreshing your browser. Try refreshing your Praise. Or try. Google's having a problem this morning. Hopefully they got some engineers working on that, right? I mean, Stefan, you know that I don't really know too much about individual stocks like that. We'll take a look at it really quick. And this once and only once, but I don't even see it. Steven, if you got a ticker, let me know. It's APH. All right. All right, let's check it out over here. I want to keep going over here. We have as we begin this session, and I say begin before we're going to start blowing through all the FX markets, looking to see whatever opportunity there is in there. Look at Square up again. Look at that gap up on Square. All right. So let me just regain my focus over here. Let me regain my focus. No one FOMO here after gold. No one FOMO after silver. No one FOMO up here after Bitcoin. Where was the last entry on Bitcoin? As we came back into this, we talked about this last night on the Telegram group, right? That was possible entry over there. Square is a monster. Square is a monster. Alfrea Cannabis. Does anyone have a ticker? Is it? Yeah, don't FOMO. Hold those positions. No, yeah. APHA. Let's check it out. Oh, that's why. That looks, what does that look like to you guys? Does that look like an uptrend or a downtrend? To me, it looks like a downtrend. What do we do in downtrends? We sell off resistance, right? There's so many beautiful opportunities in the market right now. Stick with them. There are so many beautiful opportunities in the market right now. Stick with them. Is this putting in a bottom over here? Maybe. I don't know. Am I looking for it? No. Let's look for some pretty big resistance levels that we know if we clear above, what is that? All the way up at $7.60, maybe. It doesn't look good to me personally. Now, I don't know. I try to stay away from stocks as much as possible, but I don't know, Steven. I can't really help you out there. I do not understand. That's a good solution. I don't know what's going on. It seems like mobile devices are having issues this morning. WTI breaking out over here to the upside. There's the gap. Coming into some strong resistance though. Oil is still, for me, is absolutely not attractive. What's going to happen, by the way, let me pause a second over here. You're seeing the alarming rise of infections and further lockdowns in Australia. Now, if you remember going back towards when things were really heating up in the first wave, Australia went to pretty strong lockdown measures and controlled everything. The fact that they're seeing such a resurgence is very worrisome. That probably means, I said yesterday on the live stream, and I talked about how it looks like Brazil and the United States as a whole yesterday turned the corner, and we're looking for a sharp decrease here in the United States and in Brazil over the next 3 weeks. Now, the worrisome thing is what is going to happen in the winter. Are we going to have further rises of infections and lockdowns? It looks that way. It's so worrisome because the economy is doing really, 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 really bad here. People are suffering, right? That's why we're looking at the Fed printing more. If you look at Janet Yellen, and she's talking about, the Fed may have to do more in the coming months. And then you hear the Fed talking about, we're going to have to really commit to ramping up inflation, right? You see the dollar pricing that all in. We're looking, where is that action coming from? That's coming from because things look pretty ominous going further, and people are already suffering. We had on Yelp 55% of all businesses closed down permanently. That's a shock to the system. Yeah, the markets, and again, I've made it clear to everyone for a couple of months now. The economy and the markets are two different things. Just because the economy is slipping away from us does not mean the markets are. The Fed is printing. The Fed is inflating asset prices. We're following the technicals. We're not getting. All you see all over YouTube is this fear porn about the markets are crashing. Oh my gosh, those people have lost so much money. Stop it. All right. Oh, I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to get into that, but I'm not a believer in it for strong measures. Yeah. By the way, if anyone has been following what's going on in Sweden, I was doing some research this morning. We went through like Sweden did the right thing. Oh no, they did the wrong thing. And now for weeks now, I'm back to they did the right thing. It's Chrome. It's all about Chrome. Are we falling down further here on the DXY? Let me get into some FX this morning. Oh yeah, look at that. We have U.S. equity markets just open up. The dollar continues to take a hit over here. Let's look at some downside targets on the dollar. Let's step back here a second and look at what we are targeting here. If we break that low put in just this week on the dollar, and that's coming back down here. It's coming towards, let's call it, it's probably 90 50, but let's, to be safe, let's call it over here at 91. Let me draw those in over here as we have them as a guide. All right, that's a box area, everybody. That's a long way down. Oh man, Brent. I wish, bro, I love your thesis, Brent. I really appreciate your work, your dollar milkshake work and your thesis, but you got to follow the technicals. Fundamentals are one thing. We always pay attention to the fundamentals, but at the end of the day, we follow the technicals. This is a big breakdown over here, technically, as this trend line broke on the DXY. We'll see. Well, it's a really good question, and the question is why am I looking at the 3-day time frame instead of the daily or the weekly time frame? Listen, it's been a long journey for myself. 20 years trading the markets full time, 17 years. Full time 17 years. So I'm self-taught. Everything that I learned in the markets, I learned from myself. Obviously, my style, you can't be like, oh, Jordan's style is like this person. Completely unique, right? Why do I focus on the 3-day? Well, if everyone else is focused on the daily or the weekly, I don't want to be focused on it. I stay away from the herd completely, right? So the 3-day, that provides just a really good. I think the daily is too much, so I focus on the 8-hour. The 8-hour time frame is a fantastic time frame to trade. It's the best, right? The 3-day, the weekly, that's an eternity, right? The 3-day it takes out a lot of the day-to-day noise. When I'm looking to get that deeper perspective, that deeper overview, I just fall back to the 3-day. It gives much more clarity. Oh, Juan, we're thinking long term here. So happy to hear that. And I'm looking forward to you rising above, Juan, to you rising above. 17% in 2 weeks is huge. Fed is pumping dollars will go up by tomorrow. I don't know about that. Stop. Listen, the best thing you could do, every single person, is stop trying to pick bottoms. Stop trying to pick tops. Do not do it. Stay with the flow. Stay with the trend. All right. We're going to start going through some FX pairs right now. Before we do that, let me check in on the S&P. Headed towards our target. That white line is over there. If the 8-hour is you're 7 points away from our take profit, if we start making a lower low on the 8-hour, exit the trade at this point. Nasdaq was lagging earlier. Let's see if it's able to go ahead and put its groove on over here. I'm using the S&P as a guide when to exit the Nasdaq because again, we're kind of free flowing on the Nasdaq and gold making new all-time highs. There's no resistance above it to use as a guide. The Fed called a meeting today. That's interesting, right? I mean, by the way, I follow the charts. It's what keeps us all on the right side of the market. The charts price everything in. The charts price everything in. The charts price everything in. Listen, again, go on YouTube. The markets are crashing. The economy's terrible. The markets are going up. The Fed is printing. Everyone knows that's with the channel. If you're new here, by the way, welcome. Do go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Looking forward to getting to know you more. Ascending triangle on silver. Yes, I do, Max. I remember that note. The best thing you have taught me, Jordan, is to wait until you see an amazing setup and move accordingly. The more you study and the more you practice in off time, the easier the real game is. We spend most of our time going over charts and analyzing them until something is clear, and then you jump on. Jim Rogers said it best. I didn't understand it for many years. He was like, listen, all I do is I sit back and watch until there's money over there in the corner, and then I go ahead and pick it up, right? Do not FOMO after silver. This is a great question. What are your views on buying silver? I see it going up. I think I want to be involved in that. I'm looking at long-term trends, and I'm looking at much higher prices of silver, right? Here you are, right? That was the last entry that we talked about, again, on the live stream. It's all in the video as price. I don't have a name for my setup. Someone said the 3-bar, but it has to be around the support or resistance. That was, right now you are doing nothing on gold and silver if you're not positioned in, but waiting for a pullback consolidation and then for an opportunity to get into a swing trade and then see if it pushes any further. If you're looking for a position trade, you're looking for on silver, a 7, 10, 15% pullback, on gold, 3 to 5% pullback. You are, Clint, thanks for being a part of the team for sure. Yeah. Thank you. New gold high every second. Love it. Love it. Love it. By the way, Bitcoin's getting warmed up over here. I imagine Bitcoin's the best performing asset of the year. It is the best performing asset off the low, and it's going to continue. It's the best performing asset of the past 10 years. Wait to 2021 is going to be the year of Bitcoin. 2020, I heard an interesting opinion yesterday that I want to share with you because I don't think that we make new all-time highs on Bitcoin this year, right? I have, there's a video on the Bitcoin playlist. By the end of 2020, I expect us to be trading somewhere right around here, somewhere around $17,000, right? In the first quarter of 2021, new all-time highs. Is it possible as we're entering the 2020 election and we're going to be looking at a massive amount of printing to continue and or stimulus and or the U.S. Treasury directly intervening, is it possible that we're going to see Bitcoin make new all-time highs in 2020? Listen, like I said, if the Bitcoin model breaks, it's going to break to the upside. It is possible under these circumstances that we make a new high in 2020. It's not where I lean, but it's an ever-evolving environment. And what we're looking at, once again, we got Yellen, the Fed may well do more in the coming months. We have the Fed, putting out some leaks to CNBC that they're looking to go ahead and run this economy hard and push further. We'll see. We'll see. You know what? A lot of people are interested in oil today, in WTI. Let's take a look at it really quick just to give my view, my opinion on this. I'm stepping back and I'm looking at oil, and oil continues to be in a downtrend, in my opinion. We are entering an area over here of some pretty strong resistance once we hit, call it 45, all right? A little under 45. That's an area of pretty strong resistance. And then you have even stronger resistance up here at 51, right? That's a big area. So there's plenty of profit to be made in that area. Do you want to enter along on oil as you're coming up towards resistance? No, absolutely not, right? So what happens if you clear that resistance? If we clear above this resistance over here at 45, are we looking to target then perhaps the bigger resistance at 50? And that even might be a little lower. That might be right there. Let's call it 49. Let me just meet halfway between that bit of broken support and that resistance. We'll call it 49, right? Maybe, but I'm looking at what I'm seeing. I'm seeing as in we're seeing over in Asia, we're seeing over in Australia. We are seeing right now a resurgence in the virus. Right over here on this side of the world, we're seeing devastation that's finally turning the corner. It looks to me that late fall, early winter is going to be bad over here again. And that is going to be really bad on the economy. Oil is tied to the economy, supply and demand. Oil is tied to the economy. It does not seem like a good investment to me whatsoever. I've been having people avoid this for a long time because there is so much going on. It's nice to see oil, WTI up 4% today, right? But, in perspective, it's nothing to what's going on in silver. This is where I've had everyone focused. Gold, this is where we're focused. Bitcoin, this is where we're focused, right? So, it's nice to see WTI trade up. Is that where you want to be, focusing your capital and your time? I don't think so. Tesla's, by the way, if you looked at, someone gave some credit to Kathleen of ARK Investments for calling Bitcoin, for calling Square, and for calling Tesla 3 for 3. I did not get Tesla. Square and Bitcoin for sure, but I did not get Tesla, and props to her for doing that. Let's look at Tesla, by the way. Tesla is now consolidating here for a while. Now Tesla becomes interesting. Now Tesla is starting to become interesting over here after this huge move up. What happens after expansion? Consolidation, right? Tesla looks like it's getting ready here. It's going to be following the markets, though. So let's look at the markets for a second. I'm going to get into all the FX pairs today. Jordan, do you do one? No, there's no one-on-one sessions. No. The cost of the education here, and what do? We give people a sincere opportunity to follow a strategy that really, well, we're seeing the results and it's paying off big time. It costs next to nothing, but absolutely not. So what's going on over here? Let me come back to the S&P 500. By the way, we're not so far from all-time highs on the S&P 500. We are not so far from all-time highs on the S&P 500. Maybe in the fall. I'm leaning towards, and I'm going to be strong in this. I know what's going on over here. When I say I know what's going on, I see what's going on over here. That we're looking to really ease. I maintain and lean towards it's much safer as we get in here into the, approaching the middle of August, to be on the sidelines waiting and watching on the equity markets. We're approaching, our final take profit area for those that are involved. I'm not trading the S&P right here, but we walked you all through it. And here's the area to get out. Now's when a lot of people start getting attracted. People do chase that momentum. We are preemptive of that momentum. People chase momentum. People FOMO. We're is it preemptive the correct word? Preemptive of that momentum. Yeah, that's a good Mark. That's a good bet right there. There's a good chance we're hitting all-time highs before the election. We got a lot of stimulus coming. Let's start off the FX with the pound Japanese yen over here. Let's start with the pound Japanese yen. Let's see what it's doing over here. And I see some pretty strong resistance over here at 139, 139.40. In that area right over there, we're coming into that. That's not so attractive for me. Now, what happens if we clear that resistance, right? Between here and here, between that resistance and that resistance, that's a decent trade. 100 pips on the pound Japanese yen, not really. Yeah, you know what? I'm neutral personally here. I don't see a trade for me. Are you in a downtrend? Do you want to sell resistance? Yeah, it's kind of a downtrend. That's kind of a downtrend. Now, me personally, by the way, I have zero interest going on a while now in taking any positions on the side of the Japanese yen. Japanese yen is weak. We're in a risk on environment. I have no business trading the Japanese yen. What happens if we say, all right, this was the March low? Are we in an uptrend? Yes. Right? Why would we consider this the March low? This is where the QE started. This is where the Fed intervened. It was a game changer. And since then, on a swing trader's time frame, we're in an uptrend, right? So what do you do in an uptrend? Do you sell off resistance? Absolutely not. You buy off support, right? We're not near any support. We're coming into any resistance. A break above there, perhaps. It's not interesting for me. It's not interesting for me. But nevertheless, I hope just that little look at it. I hope that little look at it is able preemptive. Thanks, Isan. That little who wanted to look at that, Jason. That little look at it. I hope that is able for you then to make your own conclusion. I'm sorry. Are we at trendline resistance? You're asking if we're at trendline resistance. And my trend line on the pound Japanese yen is all the way here. I'm going to make that a little darker for you, Jason. So that's the only trend line that I'm following on the pound Japanese yen. Very smart, Jason, by the way, saying, let's look at the 3-day to get that bigger look for the trend line. Why sell off resistance on the S&P at all-time highs? It's in an uptrend. No one's selling the S&P. No. Oh, why exit? No. No one's selling. None of us are selling the equity markets. I think that we're one of the few people, not the only, but we are in the minority of everyone who's been like, no, you need to be long stocks. You need to be long stocks. Stay long and strong. No one's looking to sell, but are you looking to exit the trade? Are you looking to exit as you come into the resistance? Luke? Yeah. You're looking to take profit into the resistance over there. Yeah, RH, YouTube is having some very, very, very bad problems today with their streaming. I'm sure it'll be worked out, but by tomorrow. From what I understand, the best thing to do is get off a mobile device and use Google Chrome and refresh that page. All right. Yeah, there was just some confusion there. I'm not sure what it was, but we have like right now our group, our team has like you are not allowed to sell equities thing going on for a long time. No one is trying to pick the top on that. Yeah, that's all good. Glad to clarify. All right. Let's start getting in over here. 1160. Just keep going. The number go up. Nasdaq, by the way, do you see it lagging behind? The Dow leading today. That's something for us to take note of. Look at this, everybody. We're not near. There's the June high over there. We're still a ways off the June high. I really want to see the Dow take out the June high. We have the S&P making higher highs. We have the Nasdaq at all-time highs, but the Dow continues to lag. Today, the Dow is leading the way. That is super healthy for the market, by the way, to see the rotation right now as Nasdaq's at all-time highs back in to the Dow over here. Super healthy for the markets. Take note of that. Yes, that's true, Kips. All right, let's take a look over here. Let's start here. We already looked at the Euro US dollar. There was no entry for me. There was no entry for me. What happens right now, by the way, what's our next areas to look for on the euro US dollar above us? What are we targeting here as if we break out or continue this breakout over here, right? So we have some resistance over there at 120. We have some resistance at $1.27, sorry, 20793. And then above that, we run into some more resistance at 122. Not much in the way. We looked at that on the DXY to give you that further perspective over here. If we continue to break down over here a little further, it really opens up a possible further extension down. You'll see that play out not only against the euro, but all dollar pairs. I'm going to go through the dollar pairs first, and then we'll get into other cross pairs. You could see over here, I'm going to come down to the 8-hour. A couple of people are asking to look at the euro Canadian dollar. We will do that. Beautiful, beautiful textbook entry over here. You see the pullback into support and the resumption off of it. You can see the euro and the pound have been what I believe to be over these ever since we saw that break of resistance against the DXY, the break of that channel down over here. Excuse me, off my flow. Ever since we saw the breakdown of this trend line over here, this was a channel that we were tracking over here, right? This was a consolidation. Ever since the breakdown of that channel over here, the pound and the euro have been leading in strength over here. This was huge volatility. And then after that, consolidation broke out to the new level down over here. So pound US dollar, there's nothing you can do, right? There's nothing. When I say there's nothing you can do, the entry, you can't chase after it if you weren't involved in it. What you could do is realize, what am I going to do in the future? I'm buying off support in uptrends. Let's look at the Australian dollar, which is the strongest one today versus the dollar, up 1% today. Oh, that looks good over there. Taking out that resistance over here. Now targeting 0.7355. Let me pull back a little further. Let me look at the $3. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It looks like we're now, definitely. It looks like we're now definitely. We're targeting 0.735 now. That's the next area to be looking out here for on the Australian dollar, US dollar. If you want to get involved, now that you've broken out here above this resistance, right? Look for that to be confirmed as support. Any pullback into here, over here, is an opportunity to get long, as is any type of pullback. You don't need to you don't need to test the line exactly. We could just pull back a little bit and then the resumption off. There's a nice trade over here up into there. So keep track of the Australian dollar, US dollar. This is no longer showing anything for me right now. Flag that off. The euro Canadian dollar, let's stop and take a look at over here. We have, wow, the condition of the stream is really killing us. Could you imagine there's 523 of us in here today and 391 likes? That is an enormously high ratio. I appreciate the support. I do appreciate the love. Not interested in trading the TC. That looks like a good question. I'm going to come right back to it in a second. No, Gino, we trade off of price alone. We trade off of price. Every single indicator is lagging. RSI is difficult because once the RSI becomes overbought or oversold, that's when the biggest moves happen. Oscillators are tough because once you reach an oversold or an overbought region, you see a turn in a normal market condition. But once a market gets overbought, like for how long now has the RSI been overbought on silver? The thing just keeps going up. Once a market gets really overbought or oversold, that could continue for a long time. That's all good. We have enough. We have enough, Jim, for real. I mean that. You know what? Because it's a good group. Euro, Canadian dollar over here. You could see over here the resumption off of the support, and it's a beautiful entry, right? It's a beautiful entry. You're in a strong uptrend. You pulled back into support and now resuming off. A couple of people wanted to look at that, but that's as clear as day. That's a good one. Is that a cup and handle that's being formed? I think a couple of you were pointing that out yesterday. You could see this is the cup, right? The handle, and now resuming out of that for the upside. Wow. Take note of that. That might be something to look to get involved. Now, if you miss this entry, what do you do? Let's say you missed this entry. By the way, sometimes, instruments go straight up and sometimes they go straight down, but not normally, right? This is a beautiful entry right over there. I'm not in it. If I want to get in it, what do I do? Right? Well, there's nothing I could do. I don't chase after an entry. All I could do is wait. Maybe we get another test of that local support over here, right here. That would give me an entry to resume off of. Otherwise, if we continue this momentum here, continue rising up, right? You need to wait for that pullback, the consolidation, and then the resumption up. Anyone who's involved in that trade, that is a good looking trade. I think that after it breaks, if this is a cup and handle over here, you can see it better on the 8 hour, right? If that's a cup and handle that's forming over there, this is the best entry coming back up on the cup. But you have opportunity over here as well. If we break out over here, there's going to be plenty of opportunity. Keep watching that one if you're not involved. Do not FOMO after. Wait for the right time. So Lawrence, by the way, and I want to go back to, there was a question about about US dollar, Japanese yen. I want to take a look at that. Lawrence is asking that he's underinvested in crypto and have buy orders in of last weekend's low, right? What do you do? Listen, the bull market hasn't even started in altcoins. It started in Bitcoin, right? It started now in Ethereum. First Bitcoin, days later Ethereum. It has not even started yet in the altcoins, right? Which generally is 5 to 6 months after the Bitcoin halving. We're still a couple of months away. It's still so ridiculously early. Lawrence, the best way to trade these bull markets is looking for those pullbacks, right? For example, I had been stalking Tezos and I had been stalking Link and Link Chain. And once we got that 20% pullback, I jumped in. If you're not involved in a particular crypto that you're looking to get involved in, wait for that 20% pullback, then start accumulating in. Yeah, it is. So it is a dollar story, but I sound like a broken record now for a long time. And, I have tried to get everyone to understand that this is all a dollar story. And that has gotten everyone, hopefully, on the right side of the trade. Yeah, DXY is very oversold. It can continue to remain oversold. That's a very good example, Gino. I'm trying to get back. TC is asking, not interested in trading the Japanese yen. Excuse me. Just a clarification. I currently have 2 open positions. They're long the Australian dollar and long the euro against the Japanese yen. Those positions are going on since the middle of July, right? So it's not that I'm not interested in trading the yen. I'm not interested in taking positions towards the yen. I'm not interested in buying yen. Now, what about on the US dollar, Japanese yen, though, you're saying, right? Because we see the breakdown over here, right? Look at this. We've been watching this earlier this week. This over here, broken support, right? Oh, it broke above. It pierced above and then rejected above. Look at that. This is beautiful to look at over here. You could see here that we pierced above our resistance right over there. You could see that we pierced up and closed above it. Did we close above it on the daily? Because we always say to break, we did not. This is a good lesson. Let's focus in on this for a moment, everyone, together over here, because you could see this resistance level I have over here. I had it at 106.14, right? You could see that we broke above it, right? Right over here on this green bar, we broke above it. Now, always, this is taught in the course, always for confirmation, you're looking for a close above the broken support or resistance on the daily time frame for any type of confirmation. We did not close above it there. You did not close above it. And then you see what happens as you come back down. Look at this. There's the retest. There's the resumption. That was the entry. TC is saying, well, that's a clear entry according to the course, 100%, no question about it. Also on the live stream, we've talked about, we saw that setting up and talked about it. I'm not interested in it though, and at the time we looked at it, I also said I'm not interested in it because it's not just being able to spot the setup. It's discerning which of the setups you're taking. If we have 7 yellow flags, you then narrowing down those 7 possibilities into where you want to focus your attention. For me personally, that even though, I know the dollar's weak, if the dollar's weak, who do I want to trade that against? The euro, the pound, primarily. Japanese yen, that comes in last place. Japanese yen has been in this environment very weak. We're looking for continued weakness. Do I want to trade the yen versus the dollar? No, I go for strength versus weakness. This over here is weakness versus weakness, except the US dollar is much weaker right now, is why you're seeing the yen making those gains. So is that a valid trade that you can take? Sure, 100%. Is that the one that I wanted to take? No, that's not where I just wanted to focus and put my money. Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Now there's a video, Danielle, which I really highly recommend. It was posted 2 weekends ago on the channel, so it's not that far away, and it's titled something about cryptocurrency portfolio, and it does talk about what I believe to be a smart allocation into all coins because they're about to enter a bull market. The altcoins that I'm personally invested in, but Bitcoin. Do check out that video. That would be very helpful for you. Oh, they were storing grain there at the port. That's again, someone mentioned it at the very beginning of the video. About prayers for Lebanon, and that's sincere. That's a very painful, terrible situation. Those people have been through a lot and continue to go through a lot, and that's heavy on the heart over there, for sure. Neutral is a good position. Thanks for that comment. Do appreciate Jake Herbs 23 the support over there. The buffer, Ray, YouTube is having an issue today. I apologize about that. Try using Chrome. XLM. Oh, it's been a while since I looked at the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Let's take a look over there. Oh, look at that. Breakout. Australian dollar is strongest currency today. I'm avoiding this. I've been focused on US dollar pairs, and I've been focused on trading against Japanese yen pairs. I have been staying away from the crosses like this. No, I think in the next 12 months that Ethereum will outperform a Bitcoin. I've been very clear about that. And I do believe that Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin in the next 12 months. I don't know what happens to Ethereum in the long term. Ethereum could definitely run into some growing pains over here as they try to upgrade the blockchain once again, try to get it to scale. I don't know. I know that Bitcoin is proven technology and Ethereum is not. Is there more possible upside right now on Ethereum? Yeah, highly speculative. I have over 50% of my portfolio into Bitcoin. I have less than 0.5% into Ethereum. Nah, Daniel, we need to take that as it comes. First things first. Right now we're in August. Let's figure it out from here. First things first. By the way, we could run into some really big problems in December. We could run into some enormous problems into December. You have an election that might not be called come election night, and it could be weeks before we find out who the winner was. That will bring massive uncertainty to the markets. That could cause a big sell-off. It's too many variables to even think about trying to put them together right now. We have no idea. We have also, Vice President Biden. We have his team game theorying what it would be like him not conceding the election. Terrible, terrible, terrible situation setting up here in the U.S. So do not not trying to figure out that far. We can't look into the future. We don't have a crystal ball here. We don't have any crystal ball whatsoever. All we could do is follow price around the structure of support and resistance with the help of trend lines and take it from day to day. Litecoin's not exciting at all. Litecoin is not exciting at all. Yeah. Yeah, Camel, YouTube's having an issue today. YouTube is having an issue today. So, by the way, yeah, Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin next 6 to 12 months. Probably a good bet on that. I've been very clear about that. A better position is a low amount of leverage on Bitcoin, for sure. Ah, that's terrible. I'm sorry about that. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully they figure that out. Yeah, Oliver. Brad, good to see you. Good to see you here, Brad. Good. Oliver, I don't know. YouTube's having an issue. You could try getting off a mobile device. You could try using Google Chrome. Try refreshing your browser. If you're having, Austin saying, if you're having problems with the stream, try going to a browser like Chrome and accessing YouTube from there. A lot of people not listening here and asking Jordan for wild predictions on markets by Christmas. Nobody knows the answer to that. And anyone who makes wild is a fool. The game is about good insight there, Kips. The game is about following trends and reacting when the probability presents itself. Generally speaking, do you trade the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar? And yeah, from time to time, Roman, for sure. So I'm gonna pull up a chart as I talk about it of the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Like you could see over in this area over here, like she was trending really nicely, right? Here she was trending really nicely. This was actually when I have my chart marked up. This is when I was following it. Then we started basing out for a long time, right? I tried going long over here. Well, there was never actually a signal. Right? But over here, and then we fell. So once we closed below that support, that opened up the downside again. But I have not even been looking at this all the way back to February. I've not looked at the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. There's no hard and fast rule or advice I could give you on that. If I see a good setup on the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, or any other cross, I would take it, no question about it. But at this moment in time, clearly this is a dollar story. The trades that have been against the dollar are where it's at. And also, it's not a Japanese yen story, but the whole environment is risk off, which is not really conducive for the Japanese yen. And I have and continue to ride some trades against the Japanese yen. One of those being here, the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. By the way, I got so lucky on this trade because luck never hurts anyone. I entered this trade and I took my first piece of tape profit off of here, moved my stop loss to break even. I did not get stopped out, I think by less than a pip. That's just luck. That had nothing to do with me. Euro Japanese yen. Also holding this one long over here. I'm targeting over here right now at that resistance into that 125.80 area. That's where I'm looking to take my whole position off. Do you believe the consensus that there's a strong correlation between crypto equities and traditional? This is a fantastic question. Brian is asking. I've looked into this one pretty heavily. Actually, Brian, afterwards, if you go to the Bitcoin playlist, I think the second video on the playlist is titled something like Bitcoin is a 256 or 257 times position to the S&P 500. There's a correlation between Bitcoin and the S&P 500. And we saw that really, we saw everything is correlated during the crisis, during a liquidity crisis, right? Everything is correlated down to one. It's a long-term correlation. During 2021, you will see that correlation break big time on Bitcoin and the S&P 500. During the bear market that follows in 2022 in Bitcoin, you will see that correlation between the S&P and Bitcoin break pretty strongly. You could see, for example, in 2022, the S&P trading at all-time highs. You will see Bitcoin trade off 85% or thereabouts off its high. They are correlated, but there are times in Bitcoin, trades around its 4-year halving cycle. It has a bull market and a bear market within that 4-year period, and during the height of that bull market and bear market phase, it breaks the correlation for a period of time. Right, we just looked at the US dollar, Japanese yen pretty heavily. You could go back on the stream about 5 minutes, Anthony, and you will see it very quickly. We're looking at over here. It's a good question. Do I think Square will continue to rise? And I believe we had over here. Oh, by the way, gold has rallied 13. We talked about overbought, remaining overbought. Gold has rallied 13 out of 14 days. That has happened never times before, right? Oh, by the way, this is just a headline I want to share with you. Older investors go for gold and younger ones go for Bitcoin. Listen, it's really important to realize if you look at baby boomers, they understand technology a lot better than their parents. But there's no question about it that millennials understand technology a lot better than their parents. It's just the way it is. Younger generations are able to really embrace new technology and understand technology trends a lot better. Of course, younger generations are going for Bitcoin. Of course. Listen, there's no doubt in my mind there's going to come a day when Bitcoin overtakes the market cap of gold, right? When that is, will that be this halving? I do not think so whatsoever. Maybe the next one, maybe the next one after that. Is Square going to continue to go up? If you could, if you're able to kind of picture what future trends are going to look like over here, you could see here, this is Square app's volume of Bitcoin purchases, right? Square made during the crisis, during the second quarter, they had record profits, 50% of that coming from Bitcoin purchases. Think about that. This is going to be a small candle over the next 18 months. This right here, this was a small candle that we just put in, right? This trend that you're seeing here is going to continue this way, straight up and to the right. So Square should be continue. Jack Dorsey is brilliant in embracing Bitcoin. First public company here that is paying for developers on the Bitcoin blockchain in order to just increase overall adoption of Bitcoin, because overall adoption of Bitcoin increases Square's bottom line. That's a good amount of leverage to trade Bitcoin with. 3x is as far as I say. S&P breaking out, S&P approaching our take profit. So how do you time your trade on the 8-hour time frame? Often, like on the euro, Canadian dollar, it's gone too far by the end of that confirmation candle. That's not where our entry is. We're not waiting for the candle to close. MRB, definitely do look at taking the trading course. It will give you an enormous advantage, but we're not looking for the candle to close in order to take an entry on the 8-hour. Anthony, I'm sorry, I do not have an opinion. I never even looked at the instrument. There's nothing I could offer. Yeah, I mean, it looks to me like gold is going to be taking a look at 50 eventually, but we're not focused that far in advance. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Jake, very, very, very much, saying that, making us all better at what we love doing. And it is, for me, a huge passion. I feel so, so blessed to be able to share this time with all of you. You guys are pretty amazing. Look around the internet; it's rare to find a group of people like you all. I'm grateful for it. No, no, Shane. All those that I use in my trading decisions, I use price around the market structure of support and resistance with the help of trend lines. Yep, chart patterns, of course, all over them, but I'm looking at price. Thomas loving that GDXJ. Yep, I do. So I had a lot of friends that were heavily invested into XRP. They got in, I think, at around 10 cents. They rode that up to $3 and all the way back down. I'm not sure where they got out. I think around 20 cents. I think XRP could rip very big. Does it go back and test its all-time highs of $3? Maybe. We're about to enter alt season. We're gonna enter an enormous bull market here. Altcoins, if you look at the video I posted on cryptocurrencies 2 weeks ago, are going to outperform Bitcoin by a large margin. There's no doubt about that. Being invested in the top 20, the top 50, or the top 70 of altcoins as a basket will definitely outperform Bitcoin as a whole. XRP is included in that. But at the end of the day, by the way, if you're able to read headlines, now you have the CEO of XRP or of Ripple today in the headlines talking about how, world governments are opening up to cryptocurrency. XRP is not an option. The whole utility of XRP was to be a settlement token between banks. They've since created their own. They use them internally. They don't need XRP. The worrisome thing about XRP is that Ripple, the company, could just print more and then dump it more on retail. Stay away from XRP. Yeah, Jeff, you could Google whatever the co-founders of Ethereum are, Vitalik and I forgot the other co-founder's name. They're on video recently saying that, they knew when they created it that it could not scale, right? So it's highly speculative. They're trying once again to do another upgrade, and they always have that up for years now. For 4 years now, they have that upgrade in place, and then they always move back the timeline because they can't do it. They can't do it. As the new Chardon starts being implemented, you're going to run into some competition for that. There's going to be huge problems. You heard it here. There's going to be huge problems. Now, nevertheless, I do believe Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin in the next 6 to 12 months for sure. Thank you for that like. Thank you for that. Roman, thank you for that what you shared yesterday in the Telegram group. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, so there's a question about the course. Is it friendly for people who are not beginners and maybe do not need to be handled a lot? Yeah. So, whether you're new to the course is structured in such a way that whether you're new to trading, right? We do live training sessions once a week, but you don't need your hand held either which way. Everything is presented in a really effective manner. Now, I do work with a lot of people who have been trading for 7 years, for 15 years, right? And some of them took the course only to say thank you because all of a sudden their trading has exploded from only watching the live streams. So they wanted to say thank you, take the course, and then in return actually learn something new in the process. That's awesome. You don't need listen. It's a great place to be. No matter your level or experience, is going to add value. There we go. I mean, this is probably, it sounds like you have a much better grasp on the situation than me, saying that the 2.0 testnet is live, but it may take another year or more to fully implement. And in the end, by the way, just so everyone is perfectly clear, I am 100% rooting for Ethereum. I hope that we do see some side of decentralized protocol. I am 100% rooting for Ethereum. But I don't get emotional or attached. I'm completely detached. I'm just looking at data and making assessments. No, so but you sound Tesla. You said buyer. I think you're new to the channel actually. If you look at the Nasdaq and you come back to it, if you go back over the past week, you'll see that this trend line over here, you saw the breakout of it, right? Then the retest into that trend line, and as it resumed off, this was the entry that we telegraphed. This was all over the afternoon published videos. That was the entry onto the NASDAQ with the first take profit targeting the all-time high, where you took a small piece of profit, moved your stop loss to break even, and you're riding this out. We are preemptive. We do not chase. If you're entering the NASDAQ here, you're chasing after price, and that doesn't work out well, right? After the breakout, you see the break here, the retest of that new local support, the resumption off, a late entry, but a good one, right? I would not take this entry ever right into the resistance. Listen, I say it not for me. I say it for you. Take the course. It's extraordinarily helpful. I don't think so yet. I do not think we're in the bubble yet. I think if you look back at past crises, we just exited a crisis over here. The crisis tends to be the bottom. Fed started QE over here. They're just getting warmed up. We're looking to run this hot. We're looking to possibly see some further expansion of the balance sheet by the end of the year. There's a good chance the Fed takes this to $10 trillion. They're not going to stop at $10 trillion, by the way. They're not going to stop at $10 trillion. Do I think that we've seen stocks go up? Fed blows bubbles. Yeah, this is going to, David, question of the day. David is saying, any thoughts on tomorrow's non-farm payroll and the market reaction? It's a curveball. I have no idea what that number is going to look like, if that number is going to look better or worse than expected, and what the market reaction will be. This is really important, by the way. Tomorrow, and we'll assess it tomorrow, but how the market reacts to that print is more important than what that print is. For us being able to see, all right, the number came in worse than expected, the number came in better than expected, and the market did this or that, that's much more important for our benefit than having an idea what's going to happen. Tomorrow is a big question mark. It's the event of the week. I have no idea what that print's going to look like. You guys have some excellent questions today. How strong is your conviction on silver in comparison to gold? It's kind of like Ethereum and Bitcoin. I expect, we're going to look at that next. If you guys have the time, I want to look at the gold to silver ratio. I expect silver in this environment is going to outperform gold. Nevertheless, I think gold is the better investment. If we do run into some issues, if we run into some problems, right, in this fall, this winter, you're going to see silver sell off much harder than gold. In the long run, I prefer, listen, when I first positioned into both buying, it's going on almost 10 years now. Bitcoin, gold and silver. I bought physical both. Fast forwarding 10 years later, I wish I just bought gold. It's easier to store. It's easier to travel with. But yeah, I expect silver is gonna outperform, but I prefer gold. I expect in the near term, Ethereum is gonna outperform. I prefer Bitcoin. Friday's the non-farm payroll. Yeah, I like that. I like that group right there. And Tezos, I also have a speculative position on there. Those right there, Daniel, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, and Tezos are the only crypto that I'm touching. Mostly Bitcoin. Is the crisis over? Another good question. Is the crisis over? I do not think that we have. I think the Fed's actions on purposefully were much greater than needed. I do not think that we're seeing any signs of any type of dollar liquidity problems. That's what caused the crisis. I do not think that we have any signs of, and Powell has been pretty forthright about that as well. He looked very sincere every time he mentions it. I do not think that we have any signs of any dollar liquidity problems. And then you're seeing the dollar also weakening, which is helping the system overall. I think the crisis is over. When I say the crisis is over, it will rear its head again. I do not know when that will be. I do not know if it's going to be 6 years from now, 6 years from now. Listen, the system is broken, but they can keep that music playing a lot longer than you think. Yes, another great question. Do you enter multiple trades of the same currency? For example, on the Japanese yen, I'm holding right now, my only two positions are against the Japanese yen, on the Australian dollar and on the euro. And yes, now that's my limit. 2 is my limit at the same time. Those within the course know our parameters. 2 is my limit. And yes, you can do that. You are increasing your risk. But if you're risking 0.5% or a percent per trade, it's well within our strategy. You can absolutely do that. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for going ahead and smashing that like button. We have 425 people viewing and 486 likes. How about that? That's pretty awesome. Thank you. It's not the stream. It's YouTube is having problems today. Rantan, YouTube is having some issues today. Try using Chrome. Yeah, so Eugene, it depends what your goals are. I think that you could follow. I think anyone could follow these live streams, participate regularly, and you're going to improve your trading drastically. You take the course, that time frame is going to be cut down, no question about it. It's going to, if you're interested in profiting from the markets, I think you should take the course. But as far as being a student, it's, we trade off the 8-hour time frame. We only trade during London hours, including the New York overlap. So it's not time intensive. We're not looking at the 5-minute chart, 8 hours a day looking for entries. It's conducive for people that have careers, families, are studying and or working full time. 100%. Shout out to you, Jessine, my brother. Thank you for that. And also right now, prayers for Australia, not just Lebanon, as it's tough when kids, the elderly are under lockdown. Psychologically, it's very difficult. Roman, the correlation question, when you say that correlations are cyclical between the different assets, listen, Roman, I'm only going to talk about what I really understand and could offer any type of value to the conversation. When it comes to Bitcoin, of course, I could, I feel strongly that I could do that. And I've looked at and researched the correlation heavily between the equity markets and Bitcoin. I don't know really in general that I could answer that question for you, Roman. What? They're holding Bitcoin? Gene, do you have a link? Please email me. I want to know about that. Gene, please, if you have something, email me. Otherwise, I'll try to research that later when we get off. So this is a great question. I'm gonna answer it, and at the same time, before I do, I'm gonna really just genuinely ask everyone here. Listen, guys, we're all friends here. We're all family here. We're a team that works together. Like, I'm detached. I'm looking at data and I'm making assessments. I don't I don't think the vaccine, there is no vaccine. There's no vaccine. There's no working vaccine. What it's going to look like is going to be some type of regularly scheduled yearly vaccine like the flu, because it has a temporary effect. There's no vaccine. There's going to be regular COVID flu shots. How about that? Is that priced into the markets? Markets are pretty smart. Markets are pricing in everything here, including the fact that the economy is falling through the roof, and yet the markets are going up. as we saw the enormous escalation in cases worldwide, specifically in the US, it did not spook the markets. The markets are pricing all that in. I hope that's helpful, Gino. Yeah, it's not, we're not really focused in yet right now, Dinkar. On we watch them, but they're not market's not really focused in on these prints right now. A terrible print would be good news because that means more stimulus is coming, but the market is not really dialed in on that right now. The market is dialed in on this, on the negative yielding debt. The market is dialed in on this. The market is dialed in on this. That's what the market's dialed in on. Hour and a half into our stream, we're going to come back and I'm going to check out the equity markets in just a minute. I'm enjoying these questions today, though. You guys have some really, really interesting questions. Yep. That will be, right? That will be around Christmas time, 2020. Hopefully that will get everyone, off the whole election topic. After that's hopefully resolved by then. And everyone, this Christmas will be talking about Bitcoin. Me too. Thanks for being a part of it. Yeah, we just looked at that. We just looked at that, my brother. We talked about how we had been walking every. If you haven't yet liked the video and you saw me talking about throughout this whole period over here, the entry on the Nasdaq on the live stream and on the update, that was the entry right here on the Nasdaq. Right now, as you're trading at new all-time highs and extended after it, you don't chase momentum. We are preemptive of momentum. So this is a great question. And again, I sincerely will only talk about things that I believe I could offer insight into. Cardano is a project that has a big following. It's probably do well during the alt season. I don't know enough of it to speak about it, but at the same time, the reason I don't know enough about it because I'm not interested about it. I remember going out to dinner with a close friend during the last bull market sometime in the winter of 2017 and him asking me about Cardano and I just told him no, right? And that went off like 95% from there. I don't think that's I think Chainlink is a highly speculative good play right now. I think that Ethereum is a solid, strong play right now, the strongest, and I think Bitcoin is the best. You can make a fortune off trading off of investing in Bitcoin that you don't need to get involved with the highly speculative alts. Yeah, we that's true, right? We do not have that in this community, and you notice that most communities have like all these moderators and stuff like that. I guess we're pretty libertarian over here, huh? I just do not follow the equity markets, which is why I'm not, but Chris, a lot of you are doing that. Yep, Jordan, everyone's having issues. Everyone's having issues. That's how I feel, Jim. I'm looking for that high probability investment, that high probability trade. We talked about it almost in nauseum today on WTI. It's not that exciting. If you're looking forward, which I am, if you're looking forward to possible further lockdowns coming this late fall, early winter to the Western Hemisphere, what's that going to do to the price of oil? Is there demand for oil? I don't know. It's not exciting, and it's been sideways. I've gone to great lengths to having people avoid getting involved over here with good reason because the markets have been pumping, right? And we're trying to stay on where the action's at. I would definitely, absolutely, without hesitation, take a position on the S&P, on the Nasdaq before WTI. I never heard of it, Danielle. I never heard of it. Yeah, so Monero has a good. So by the way, just like I had this little watch list built during the whole bear market. It was Monero. Monero has a really good use case, and that is privacy, right? So it's got an actual use case. It serves a use. It's good. Um, I was watching Chainlink, Tezos, EOS, XRP, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. Of course, we're involved heavily in Bitcoin. Ethereum, LinkedIn, and Tezos made the cut. I stood away from Monero. The thing about Monero is that once Litecoin introduces Mimblewimble privacy features, I think Litecoin is way better than Monero. So Monero has some future competition coming its way. And not only that, the thing about Litecoin is that once Litecoin is able to introduce anything on its chain, that could then be implemented into Bitcoin and will be. Anything that could be implemented into any altcoin can be implemented into Bitcoin. Roman, I'm just not sure about that. My returns have been great since that's awesome, Jeff. That's why we do this. That's why we do this. I definitely appreciate that very much. I'm glad, Jeff, that you're putting in the time, you're putting in the work, you're using the analysis shared, right? I'm trying to just nudge everyone where you should be paying attention and where you should be focused and where you should not be focused, right? I'm doing it, that's what I continually try to do. And that's awesome to hear that it's really helping out, Jeff. I appreciate that. Why staying the next 6 months in Bitcoin with that prediction for? No, Oliver. At this point at this point in the bull market, Bitcoin just entered its bull market. Ethereum just entered its bull market. Alt season is about to begin, and during this period, Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin. Just like silver's going to outperform gold right now. That's okay. I agree with this comment a lot. I think it was on the Sentiment Trader. So if you have a second, it was actually this chart that I pulled up with you. I don't have no idea how much this person posts, but I'm gonna give you a quick second to see if I could find it, because I talked about this in the afternoon video. This is the video right here, right? So this is the question that was saying, the dot-com bubble, 400% in Nasdaq from early 98 to March 2000. We're not close. Look at this chart over here, and you could see, by the way, do you see this over here? This is, right, what he's talking about, 98 to 2000. Look at that. Do you see this little V here, right? Do you see that little V there? By the way, it's a beautiful video we did on the channel. We took this whole period, moved it to here. These two periods line up exactly. And here's the first red dot, right? Here's the first red dot. We're just getting started. In my opinion, we are just getting started. Fed is printing. The print is running. What happens when the Fed prints? Stocks go up. They're inflating asset prices. That's fun. I love this stuff. I have no idea what that is, Harry. I have no idea what that is. I have no idea what that is. I mean, what does that look like to me? That looks to me like the Dow. That looks to me like the Dow. Where's the June high? Oh, sorry. That does not. That looks like, I guess more like, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. I sincerely avoid looking at all these instruments. If you're going to be trading in the equities, I really think it's better to trade the indexes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Harry. I have nothing to offer to the conversation that would be helpful. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. That's a long-term play, right? Let's keep going. Thanks, David, for everything. I do not think that you should be trading the QQQ or anything that does not afford you the ability to exit it at any time. this world is very different than it was years ago. And, something could happen overnight that could really shake the markets. What happens if overnight there's any type of provocation in any type of a hot war starting in the South China Sea, right? The markets are going to get destroyed overnight. You can't get out. Don't do it. Don't do that. That's why Forex is the best market to trade. Not as Bitcoin doesn't close. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Obviously, Forex closes over the weekend, but at least throughout the week, you have the ability to get in and out as needed. Yeah, oil would send it skyrocketing. You got to wait for a pullback. You got to wait for a pullback to get into silver, right? We just broke out a level. Let me change these over. We just broke out a level here on silver. So now you have the 26.23, which was resistance. If you get a test of that and a resumption off of it, that will be your next opportunity to position into silver, right? We'll be doing it daily, Richard. There's no opportunity right now. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, maybe Monday, maybe as soon as it's there, we'll be walking each other through it. So, Rashid, by the way, some interesting questions today. I knew it was going to be a good session. For me, this is one of the best. It's from the question you guys are all bringing up. So thank you. I smashed that like button for y'all. But Rashad's, you're asking, last time silver was at 26, it took only 6 months to hit the all-time high. Is that going to happen again? Listen, I'm going to answer that question by showing you this, and it's going to answer the question as best as possible. The last time that Bitcoin was trading at $11,000, $12,000, it took a week to hit $20,000. So now that Bitcoin's trading there again, do I think it's going to take a week to hit all-time highs? No. I think maybe it's going to take 6 to 9 months. It's different. It's a different situation. Same thing with silver. Look, this was the top of the bull market in silver. This over here was the last big move on silver. This is just beginning. So they're different. Big time. Wow. To be 22 years old and beginning out on this journey, and to be here, hit subscribe, stay with us. This is going to absolutely change your life. But that's beautiful because one of the most important pieces of investing is time horizon, right? You need that time for that compounding to take effect. If you're 22 years old, your time horizon should be 20 years, right? By the time you're 40, you should be sitting on millions. By the way, a couple of $1,000 investment back in 2003 in Amazon, in Google, I bought the IPO and I sold it for some type of gain, thought I was doing well. That was, either a couple of $1,000 investment in Facebook, in Amazon, you're talking multi-million dollars. In Bitcoin today. The time is on your side. Really be thinking long term. Yeah, I've gotten stopped at Heathrow. I've gotten stopped at JFK. Traveling with precious metals is not fun. And the people that stop you, what do they think? It's a bomb? The people that stop you, they don't even know what to do with it. You're talking about major delays. It's not fun. Oh, no, I think that the Fed is very clear that they're looking at aggressively weakening the dollar. They're winning. When the dollar, we're going to follow it technically, by the way. And when the dollar starts strengthening, for sure we'll be there. If you all remember, and I know you all do, those that have been with us for months now, I'm a dollar bull. Above this trend line over here, I was a dollar bull. I was looking for a breakout of this channel to the upside and a test of 103. And I really was against the euro. But the charts do what the charts do. And once we broke down over here, I said, all right, now I'm a dollar bear, right? We're just going to follow whatever the charts are doing. I had so many good trades this year. It's been a fantastic year. But one of the really nice ones was here on the Euro US dollar. And I didn't even want to trade the Euro, but I said, if the charts show such and such, I will take it. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I could be wrong on that, Seth, but I do not think so. Excellent input over there. Litecoin is nice because of the tiny transaction fee. Listen, Mike, this is a hard question to answer. As we're beginning to enter alt season here, and again, the video 2 weeks ago, the cryptocurrencies in the title, it was posted on a Saturday, and it looks really strongly that I firmly believe that altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. No question about it. My money's on Bitcoin though. During the alt season, if you're involved in a token and staking to earn extra tokens, that's a good thing. Do not ever get involved in a project simply because they offer staking. That's a terribly bad thing. If you're trading altcoins around the alt cycle and you're investing into a project that's offering any type of staking rewards, that's great. That's good. But you know, these altcoins are going to come off 95% in the bear market. Do not invest in a project simply because they offer staking. No. This is a great question. Since we've ever been live streaming, we just have the best questions being asked this session. This is amazing. But would you ever look at dipping your toes into junior miners and royalty companies, which I'm not even familiar with what is, in gold and silver, or just staying buying the physical gold and ETFs? For me, it's just buying gold and silver. Listen, you have to be an expert or really lucky to be invested in these miners. And I'm not. That's not where I focus my attention. You could make or lose a lot of money. I would not do that. We're looking for high probability trades and investments, right? We're not looking to go where there's volatility and risk, right? So there's no way. I have no interest. You would need to be an expert to get involved. I'm not an expert, and I don't believe that's where I want to devote my time to become an expert. Beautiful. We're seeing an interesting thing happening right now in the real estate market. I'm sorry that I need to talk about the U.S. market. It's all that I really know, and maybe or maybe not, it's relevant to other areas. But what you're seeing happening in the real estate market is you're seeing real estate prices come off and rents come off in urban areas, and they are going up in suburban areas, in selected suburban areas especially. And I think that trend will continue, especially through next year, as we are expecting. Now it looks like it's pretty clear that we're going to see further escalations of the virus next year. Now, the Fed is also at the same time continuing to inflate asset bubbles. We've seen the real estate market inflated ever since 2008. Will that trend continue overall? I do think so. I don't think we're seeing any type of crash in the real estate market coming. But I do think that we'll continue to see that current trend of prices in urban areas going down, and in other areas that are desirable, them going up. Oh my goodness. The worst. By the way, what platform, whether it's TD Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, Fidelity, Schwab, or other, I have an account, by the way, with one of them, and with TD, and it's absolutely terrible experience. It's the worst thing ever. I have to use it to trade my self-managed Roth IRA. I I have trouble placing and canceling orders. It's absolutely horrific. It's terrible. Foreign exchange, the brokers, it's so much easier, so much better. Cryptocurrencies even better than these traditional brokers. Interactive Brokers is is a good broker. Let's put it that way. But at the same time, the last time I used them was in 2003, and they didn't even have any charting platform. I had to use I had to use Sierra charts to be able to use chat. I think they have charts now, but those, you know, traditional finance is done. They're terrible. What percentage do you allocate towards BlockFi to earn interest? I do have, right? I have Bitcoin spread out on multiple exchanges offline. And over the last, I think, 6 weeks now, any purchases I make, and I make regular purchases on Bitcoin, are all through BlockFi. There is a link in the description below if you're interested. It's something that I do genuinely I got my little brother yesterday to buy Bitcoin on BlockFi, right? And I told him, listen, I don't want to get into him managing his own security. This is probably the easiest and best way for him to hold it and earn interest while he's doing it, right? Under 5 Bitcoin, they're paying 6%. You have to decide what percentage of your holding you're going to hold there, though. For my little brother, though, who was looking to put very, 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 very conservative. I can't remember, the percentage of his overall portfolio, but I wanted him to be, I wanted him to have some type of allocation towards it, but something that he was entirely comfortable with if it went to zero. But in his case, it was hold 100% on BlockFi. So William's asking a good question here. If Ethereum has a much lower initial cost and will outperform Bitcoin, why do you prefer it? Do you believe Bitcoin is more likely to go up than Ethereum? So William, by the way, the first portion of this question, when you say that Ethereum has a lower initial cost, this is something that really needs to be clarified for everyone. And the reason I say that is because if you're buying $100 worth of Ethereum or $100 worth of Bitcoin, it's the same exact thing. There's no lower cost of entry into Bitcoin or Ethereum. You could buy $100 worth of either. There's absolutely, just because the price of Ethereum is lower does not mean that you could buy more Ethereum. You're buying the same proportion, $100 worth, right? You have to think like that. The problem with like XRP and why I think it's going to go up, because fast forward to this December Christmas dinner, and then you got some uncle at the table and some college student at the table, and they're talking about Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And then everyone else is like, man, I missed it. It's at $17,000. I missed it. Oh, wait, this XRP is only trading at $1. I could buy more of that. Let me buy that. That's the common thinking, but that's not true. You could buy $100 worth of XRP or you could buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. All right, that's really important. The reason that I'm more invested into Bitcoin, though, and not Ethereum is because Ethereum is unproven technology. It's unproven technology. Bitcoin is proven technology. I'm looking at over a 10x on Bitcoin in the next 18 months, right? So the potential gain, do I need to try to go for a higher potential gain on Ethereum? No. Hope that makes sense. Next stop for gold. There's no stopping gold. There's no stopping gold. There's nothing above us. I have no idea. Look, you're looking. We talked about this as it happened. I did not get into it. I was sleeping. You saw this pullback on gold of 3.8% overnight. It was much bigger on silver. I think it was 15% on silver overnight. And then we woke up in the morning and so it had already recovered halfway, was trading back up over here. And I said that was the opportunity. And it's the same thing going forward. Any 3 to 5% pullback in gold, that's your entry, right? And then, hold. Do not look to get out of gold. Yep. Sorry about that, Jordan. So many Jordans. But YouTube is having issues today. It's YouTube's end. Yeah, Harry, I already pulled it up. I have no idea what's going on there. Gold to silver ratio. Let's take a look at it. All right. So, by the way, we briefly looked at this last night in the we briefly looked at this in the published video. This we were right here looking at this line over here, this line where my mouse is right now. We're right now into that area right there of support, right? The break below that will really set off the next leg down on this gold to silver ratio. We are looking for silver to outperform. Now, what I really want you to focus in on is two things. First, over here, right? I want you to keep this in mind. Do you see this move over here? That's a rocket ship, right? Do you see that move over there? The next time we're entering a crisis, I do not think we're going to enter another financial crisis anytime soon. The next time we enter another crisis, I want you to imprint this in your mind. Gold to silver ratio, get long gold. Get long gold versus silver. Get long gold versus silver. Right? Because you saw gold sell off during this crisis as everything in. By the way, gold didn't sell off that much. Let me pop back here for a second. Gold only sold off 15% during that crisis. Right? Gold only less than 15%. It sold off 30% in 2008. Only 15% this time. That's a big deal. Now, this is probably the best trade I think you can make in the next crisis. Go back to 2008 with me really quick. And I want you to see the last crisis, right? You could see again, gold to silver ratio. Boom, right? Now, this is where the Fed in 2008 started QE. In December, right here of 2008. Where's December? Right here is where the Fed started QE. Okay? And then you can see after the Fed starts QE, precious metals went on a bull run, and you could see silver way outperforming gold over here. Now, come back to where we are right now. First, let me clean up that chart so it's not so ugly. Right where we are now, same thing happened. Right here, Fed starts QE. What happens? Boom, silver starts outperforming. This is just getting started. This is just getting started over here. Just like when we talked about earlier in the thing here, when we looked at the Nasdaq, that's just getting started. I believe that. That's just getting started. I think we hit our take profit over there, by the way, on the S&P. Not getting close to it. There's no question in my mind that in this environment over here, outside of another crisis, that silver is going to continue to outperform. I think that this is one of the most important charts to focus in on and understand what happens during the crisis. The run is into gold. After the crisis, what's after the crisis? When the Fed reacts, you see silver. What happens if you have a crisis? And I don't think there's going to be another crisis for a long time. What happens if you have a crisis, the next crisis, so we're going to see this ratio improving, and then the Fed comes in and does a massive amount of QE. Let's say that let's pretend that the Fed does like a $10 trillion increase of their balance sheet in the next crisis. The next crisis could be different. There's going to be a crisis that we enter in our lifetimes, possibly, where the market loses, where the Fed loses credibility. If that happens, that's going like that. That's going like that. Why do I say that? Because I'm always interested in where whatever the other side to my trade is, where the risk is. Adam, hey, thanks for taking the time to write that. I do appreciate that very much. Adam, thanks for being a part of all this. Thanks for saying that. That means a lot to me. Can we expect us to go down to 30? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know, and I can't answer that. The question is, could we expect the gold to silver ratio to go down towards $30? Right? And I just don't know. I just don't know. Yes. I told my little brother to buy some last night. If you don't own any Bitcoin, should you, is now a good time? Yes. Should you expect a 30%, at least a 30% drawdown in Bitcoin at any time? Yes. Right, Michael? We got a lot of problems today. I loved. How can I get alerts on your Twitter? I don't post too often on Twitter, but where my Twitter game is at is what I'm retweeting and what I'm liking, right? It provides definitely some good value over there. So I don't know how to get alerts on Twitter. I don't think you can get alerts on Twitter, but if you follow the things that I'm retweeting and the things that I'm liking, yeah, this is a good tweet. But that's where it's at. All right, we are going to call it a session. We went 2 hours today, a little over 2 hours. I highly enjoyed it. I'm sorry about the quality of the stream. Nothing we could do about that. But it was a fun one. You guys had some really amazing questions. It was really, really, really informative for me. And I just want to thank all of you. So I appreciate you very much. It's a dollar story. Hey, CJ. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. And looking forward to working more closely with you as you join the course in September. But definitely, thanks for letting me know that. So happy. I know anyone putting in the time here involved is on the right side of the market making money. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. I am hungry. Michael, no issues. Jesse. It's a taco story. You too have a beautiful day. Have a great day, everybody. Great. Thank you for being here with us. Welcome. Really welcome. Thank you. There you go, Andre. Uptrends, what do? We buy off support. What are you doing? Downtrends, sell off resistance. Thanks, Lee. I appreciate you very much. Miguel. Andre. Some of the questions towards the last half hour were beautiful. You'll enjoy that. God bless you all. May God bless you all. Prayers for Lebanon. Prayers especially for the elderly in Australia and all those suffering from the lockdown. Justin. Amen. No, there's no head and shoulders on Bitcoin. There's definitely no head and shoulders on Bitcoin.